It is said that in the line of service, the ones who feel the brunt of that sacrifice are the loved ones, the family of the man or woman who chose to do that sacrifice. Our correspondent, Austin Azu, spoke to some of the widows of our fallen heroes in Asaba, Delta State's capital, during the Armed Forces Celebration and Remembrance Day. He reports that they are calling for stronger institutional support for them and private sector involvement to sustain the initiative and properly honor their fallen spouses.
For a while now, they keep doling out money when they're launching the emblems in millions, and it doesn't get to the desired people. That's the fallen heroes, their families. It ends up in the hands of the high and mighty. I don't want to start quoting people, but it doesn't get to us. I can assure you for the past how many years, not even 5 naira has gotten to the widow. From the money each time you guys come to the Unity Hall, you hear millions. Quote me and Mrs. Sarah Mwabweze, 5 naira does not get to the widows. It doesn't. Quote me anywhere. I'm ready to grant interview. Not a single dime gets to us. It's being hijacked. So that's just it.
If government will help me, they should help us, so that they need to help widows so that we'll be able to take care of our children. If not, the life is very difficult for widows, especially the widows that die in active service. Government needs to hear us. They need to help us. We need their help.
I don't know how you take it when you see those in pain, when you see tears, but I'm never comfortable with tears, mine or anybody's at that. But today, we celebrate and honor the ultimate sacrifice. Between 2018 and 2025, the cost of our freedom was written in blood across the nation. In 2018, 118 heroes fell at Metele Base. By 2020, 37 more were lost in a Damboa convoy ambush. The tragedy spread to Niger State in 2022, where 34 soldiers died defending Shiroro mines. In 2024, the Okwama ambush took 17 personnel, including top commanders, on a peace mission. Just last year, a suicide bombing in the Timbuktu Triangle claimed 27 more lives. Names etched in history, lives given for our peace. We remember them. But behind every fallen hero is a family left in the shadows. For these survivors, the sacrifice doesn't end at the funeral. It marks the start of a grueling second battle. Families face a waiting game, often traveling to Abuja at great cost to fix manual filing errors. Many face immediate barracks evictions, losing their homes and medical support long before pensions, often delayed by 2 years, if ever they arrive. However, the federal government is making bold moves to bridge the welfare gap for our military families. This year, the focus shifts from promises to tangible relief. A massive 18 billion naira in group life insurance has been disbursed, alongside a 60-month pension package for the bereaved. To secure the future, the DePaul Academy is now providing full tuition scholarships for the children of our fallen heroes. On the home front, new housing loans are helping personnel own property before retirement. Meanwhile, military wives are getting a boost through low-interest spousal loans to launch small businesses. Welfare is the new priority. For those who give everything, the nation is finally giving back. Or is it really? For the children, legacy care is fragile. Scholarship delays frequently lead to school expulsions. Tragically, some widows report extortion by officials and legal battles with relatives over meager assets. Honoring our heroes must mean protecting their families. The war at home must end. I'm now being joined in the studio by Major General Pat Akem-Vingir, a retired Major General, security expert. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you so much.
You've held key positions, command and staff and instructional roles, including frontline operations against insurgency and asymmetric threats to the nation. When on a day like this, well, this year's celebration has been renamed, no longer Armed Forces Remembrance Day, but Armed Forces Celebration for those living and Remembrance Day for those who've fallen. How do you feel on a day like this?
Well, thanks for having me here. For somebody who has participated in defending the nation as a member of the armed forces, you see the dangers of the profession firsthand, and perhaps because you have operated in theaters, Somalia, Liberia, Sierra Leone, and steward resources to the northeast where we're fighting the insurgency. You see the dead bodies, you see coffins lowered, you see families looking despondent. So a day like this is very sobering. People join the armed forces, they know there is danger, they know they might die, but there is always this hope that somehow they will survive, and some of us have actually survived. But it's not even that, it's what happens when they die, whether they are honored, whether they are celebrated. And it's also what happens while they are serving. And perhaps that is why some people have called, and I'll add my voice to it, for setting up the Ministry of Veterans Affairs to kind of ease the pain and wipe away tears. Because you can't have a patchwork arrangement like the one we have and expect that the issues that we're hearing today will be addressed. So it's a sobering day. It's a day of reflection. It's a day that causes us to pause and remember history, the Civil War, the various conflicts we'll be in, and the sacrifices. I know officers that I mentored who died in the Northeast, and so it's sobering.
I really sometimes think about how to go about asking some of these questions. But when you say setting up a Ministry of Veteran Affairs, some will say the protocols will still be there, because in ministries, it's a whole lot of bottlenecks to go through. Why not a Commission of Veteran Affairs? That will make it easier.
The nomenclature may not matter. It's the systems that you in place. So you set up something like that. As long as there's oversight, it's better than not having anything at all. What we have today is an ad hoc arrangement that operates in an episodic manner, sporadic. Maybe people complain, you react. But if you had a ministry or a commission, so either nomenclature, whatever it is, let there be a system that caters to veterans, that caters to widows, those who have fallen in course of service to the nation. Let there be a body that just looks after their affairs, that is well regulated, that has oversight, that is held accountable, so that the kind of arrangements we have now will be done away with.
There are those who believe that it is a different story for the commissioned officers compared to the non-commissioned officers. You talk about that, but let's go back a bit and look at what is it that motivates anyone to want to serve his or her country in this capacity. Okay. Is it a question of looking for a job?
Okay, the dynamics within Nigeria have changed. There was a time that people joined because either they admired the uniform, they liked the way of life, and then some who had knowledge that they wanted to be at the vanguard of sacrificing for the nation. Today, a lot of young people join because it looks like a career, something you can do. But you see, soldiers die for a nation. Soldiers fight and die for a nation. So we'll say that everybody that joins, whatever motives they came with, when you start going through the training, you realize that you are sacrificing for the nation. And that is why I used to tell my soldiers that you can't beat civilians because you volunteered, that you're going to defend them. As a result of which they gave you uniform, they gave you some uniforms to wear. The boots you want to use to kick them are supplied by the same their taxes, their accommodation, the medical bills, and all. Your salary, your upkeep. So you volunteered. So whatever motives people come with, the training will quickly clear your doubts. It will show you that this thing you are doing is dangerous, that in war you either kill or you are killed. So it takes a little bit it takes a minimum level of patriotism to serve in the armed forces. For people like us who went to Nigerian Defense Academy in the 80s, there were alternatives, multiple alternatives, going to the university and alternatives. So you were joining, you joined because you loved the career and you loved the nation. So there are some that still love the nation, but there are some that joined because they thought it was a career, but suddenly they realized that the nation is calling you to sacrifice. So their motives quickly change.
Now more than ever before. I mean, more than ever in a long time. That call seems to be really loud. We need help.
Yeah.
I mean, the personnel we have right now are spread thin, so we need help.
You are hitting
both
the right,
commissioned and non-commissioned. But the issue of welfare, before we even look
Very
at
important.
those who are left behind, the ones who are serving right now, how is their welfare?
Okay, so that is a very serious issue. The government is trying, but not trying enough. Before I came here, I was on a channel, on channels, and I was telling them that you've declared a state of emergency. That means resources will be unlocked so that there'll be a momentum. The soldiers will feel the impact. So welfare is critical. You see, when you ask people to sacrifice at the level that soldiers sacrifice, and I'm using that as a generic term to include the Navy, the Air Force, and anybody who serves in that capacity sacrifices, you must pay them good wages. It doesn't mean that there will be enough to sacrifice their lives, to pay for their lives, but they should have good wages. They should have medical bills paid. They should have good accommodation. They should have trainings, the kind of trainings that they will say, yeah, this training will not only serve me here, it will serve me after. So their whole welfare should be taken care of. For today, we're not doing that a lot the way we should do it because the resources are spread thin on the ground. Our armed forces are deployed in the 35 states that we have. Is it 36 states? 36 states that we have.
Plus the
FCT. So we are everywhere at the same time with a small number. Way back in 2013, when I was commanding 4 Brigade in Benin, I came to a conference in Abuja here and advocated and canvassed for increasing our strength to 500,000. Why? Because I was in Pakistan for national security course 1 year in the National Defense University. I saw that they were dealing with the kind of challenges we have. Their population was at that time 120 million, vast land. They were dealing with the kind of challenges, and the army was close to 1 million. So I knew we were going to, you see, because when you have an ungoverned space, the space does not remain ungoverned. Somebody governs it. It may just be that it's not the government governing it. So when you are fighting an insurgency of the nature we are fighting, you need boots on the ground. And that means the strength must increase. And the strength, resources must be increased in relation to the number of troops you have. So Nigeria knows that it needs that strength, but it does not have the resources. And I'm saying if you declare a state of emergency, the resources have to come so that you can recruit and accommodate and look after their welfare and train them to tackle the challenges. Because we can't keep going the way we are. Yeah. We are 16 years on this. If it stretches to the next 10 years, it may break the nation. We need to stop the cancer that is the insurgency before it breaks us. So basically, yeah, welfare, very, very important, but now we're not, the average soldier will tell you that he's not well paid, that the pay is not enough.
Thank you so much. Major General Pat Akem-Vingir, a retired security expert who's held security strategist and who has held leadership consultancy roles and in staff and command and all of it. Thank you so much for coming in this evening.
Thank you so much for having me.
We wish you well, and we do hope that the clarion call for a better welfare package for the soldier is heard. Andy, thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, and congratulations one more time.